if you cut the heart open vertically and you have it look like this, you have the 4 chambers clearly visible. This is the upper auricles, this is the lower ventricles. Now the blood have to leave the ventricle, bringing blood to the auricle here. This is vessel taking blood away from the ventricle here. Then we also, when you come to this side, you have a blood vessel, which is this red one, taking blood out of the ventricle. Then we have this one bringing blood into the auricle. So this is how the heart is structured. Now another thing you have to take note of is that the auricle, the wall is thinner. When you look at the ventricle, the wall is thicker. That is the muzzle. Look at the muzzle here. This from here to here is the muzzle of the auricle. Look at from here to here, the muzzle of the right ventricle. Look from here to here, muzzle of the left ventricle. Now, if you compare the thickness of the muscles of left and right ventricle, you still discover that it is thicker in the left ventricle than the right ventricle. Can we see the reason for that? Now, the auricle only pumps blood to the ventricle. Look at the distance from here to here. So it doesn't need a thick muzzle. The ventricle is carrying blood, pumping blood through this one to the lungs. And the lungs is just by the side of the heart. While the left ventricle is pumping blood through the aorta. This arc is called aortic arc. And this arc is taking blood to all parts of the body. So we need a stronger force to take blood to all parts of the body. The muscles of the heart, cardiac muscle, are voluntary muscles. They carry out their action voluntarily. That is why you don't control your heartbeat. It goes on without your knowing, even when you are sleeping. Now, another thing we have to know about the heart beating is what we take as pulse. If you get to hospital now, the first thing the nurses will do is to take your vital information. They count the number of time your heart beat per minute, and what is counting is the rate at which your heart is contracting and relaxing. In other words, beating, pumping out blood and receiving blood. Okay? Now, before we go further to discuss other systems, let us draw the heart as it is. This is what we call vertical section of this longitudinal section of a heart. We have cut it vertically, so we call it longitudinal section of the heart. So let's look at the diagram.